The following podcast is brought to you by Pro Wrestling Connect, Australia's newest choice for event management and brand development specializing in pro wrestling.
And now, the B Plus Wrestling Podcast. Watch global. Support local. It's the B Plus Wrestling Podcast.
The news.
B plus.
Check it out! You wanna mess with us?
Alright, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, welcome to another B Plus podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Saturday. You know what that means. It's time for NXT Edition of The View from the WWE Universe. I don't know if we even call it The View from the WWE Universe anymore. Our WWE programming is in flux, ladies and gentlemen. It is in constant flux because no one wants to watch WWE. But we do all want to watch NXT. So joining me this week to discuss NXT and NXT UK, because he actually watched it, Dan Diz, Mr. Mysterious. How you doing, buddy?
I'm going fantastic. Like as you said, like we're all clamoring to just have a chat about what the goings on in NXT more so than the main roster, and it felt best just to accompany you on this journey talking about the latest episodes because it's been very jam-packed this week.
Yeah, everyone wants to talk about NXT and everyone wants to talk about AEW and no one wants to talk about WWE. It's very, very telling, and I guess we'll talk on all the rest about the stuff that's happening in WWE and whether that's going to change anything. But for now, let's focus on the task at hand: NXT UK. Before we get into the actual NXT UK episode that aired this week, did you see the stuff with David Starr, Pete Dunne going back and forth on Twitter after the incident, we'll say, at OTT?
I know of the incident. I'm not sure about the back and forth. So he stomped on the NXT UK title in a match with Volta.
Right. So so David Starr, he stomped on the title.
Yes. Big no.
Yeah. And we don't know if it was sanctioned or not. I'm gonna say probably not.
He did get a nice powerbomb from Walter for his trouble.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's very possible that he ran it by Volta, and Volta was like, I don't care. Like, I don't know. I can't see that any WWE or NXT brass would have okayed it, right? And yeah, so I don't know. But then afterwards, Pete Dunne sent out a tweet. I'm trying to find this tweet. Yeah, so he's written anti-contract, and he's put a little cross mark next to it. Anti-independent, and he's put a little cross mark next to it. And he's written anti-David Starr, and he's done a tick. Tick next to that one.
So he's not a fan, like, whether it was just between him and Walter or it was just spur of the moment thing, I'm not too sure, but he's one for controversy, David Starr.
Yeah, David Starr, he likes to stick it to the man, and he definitely sees WWE as the man. So it's an interesting dynamic. David Starr is the most punk rock individual in professional wrestling.
I'd say, like, with the state of the wrestling world, it's kind of hard sometimes to actually shock a lot of fans, so, like, in new and inventive ways. So, yeah, if this was a very spur of the moment thing, like, he did his job. If it was by design, that is.
If it is by design, like if he had approval, could we be looking at the start of something here? Like, I don't know. I don't think he will ever sign.
I don't see. No,
WWE.
It wouldn't be fitting of his character or of him, like, just with his stance with all the other controversial all the stuff with Jay Lethal and. Yeah, no, it's just not something I'd picture him doing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting situation, though. Pete Dunne getting at him. So, who would you side with here? Would you side with Pete Dunne or would you side with David Starr? Because I am firmly in the David Starr camp on this. I think that, Pete Dunne, he has become somewhat of a company shill. Now, I'm not completely anti-NXT UK. I'm not completely anti-WWE being in Britain. I'm not completely against WWE and their global expansion thing that they're doing, right? Global localization, I think they call it. I'm not against it. I actually think it helps the local scenes, and I know a lot of people disagree with me. David Starr is one of those people, and I'm even being pro WWE in these situations, I'm very much team David Starr in this specific instance.
Yeah, I'm on Team David Starr, but I'll preface it by saying, like, if it was just a one-off thing, like if you see more stars do this at other events going forward, then I'm leaning more towards Pete Dunne. So if this was just a one-off thing, and like they're trying to build something, if they're trying to make something edgier, yeah, I don't really approve of that.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let's take a look at what actually happened on NXT UK, which is the least edgy TV show in WWE. Which WWE is not very edgy.
No, you wouldn't think that. And we're at the Download Festival, and you think that it'd be just like trying to shock and awe and like grunge and everything else, but it's just like, it's a festival. Fun times are about, and especially with the opening match, Mark Andrews waving his hands around, the fans getting behind him. It's very interesting. Yeah, very solid opener to say the least. Yeah,
so Mark Andrews and Joseph Connors, you're talking about the match there.
Yeah,
Mark Andrews wins. It's a decent back and forth, but there's just nothing major to it. And I say this a lot with NXT UK. There's just nothing major to this. Like, it's just a match happening, and I don't see anything coming out of it. You know?
No, I don't see anything coming out of it. I will say, I didn't get a chance to say about it last week because I wasn't on, but I wasn't a fan of the crowd during last week's episode, and I don't know if they kind of simmered down during these segments for this latest taping, but yeah, I was not a fan of half the chants they were doing last week, and I'm very glad that at the very least they showed respect to Andrews. Like they were being entertained more or less. So to Andrews and Connors, I should say, they were being entertained.
Yeah. Then we see the hunt outside at Download, and it's not backstage at Download; it's outside at Download.
It's outside,
they're raging, and Dave Mastiff approaches, and he's like, "Look, we have the same problem," and he gets them all ramped up for they're going to take on Gallus together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then we get Grizzled Young Vets cutting a promo, basically saying that they don't want to perform in a muddy field in front of dirty, sweaty goths.
$400 for a title, $4 for deodorant. That meme is that's essentially the promo.
And the crowd cheer. The crowd are like, "Yay, dirty, sweaty goths!" That's
it's
us.
not
He's like, "Why are you cheering?"
But I am looking forward to this, of course. Mustache Mountain and the Grizzled Young Vets. It's long time coming. Bring it on.
Yeah, definitely. So they say they will have the match and that they'll do that, but then they're going to go straight back to their 5-star accommodations
because they can't stay there 1 minute longer.
Then we get Xia Brookside versus Killer Kelly. Xia's in control, and Ginny and Jazzy come out and try to distract, and ultimately though, Xia picks up the win. What do you think of this one?
Very abrupt. Very just like I was trying to get into the swing of it. Like I thought Xia was great in the big battle royal. Like she was the workhorse throughout that entire thing, and I'm like, okay, maybe we're trying to give us some more to do going forward, and then just like then the distraction, like, oh, it's over. It didn't give me a chance. Didn't give me a chance to really like get some enjoyment out of it. So I was like, I know both these ladies are very talented. Don't get me wrong, but it was just a bit disheartening.
I'm a big fan of Xia Brookside. I like the story they're telling with her being, against the bullies kind of thing. Like she was against Rhea Ripley previously, and now she's against Ginny and Jazzy. They're doing all the bullying stuff. So I like where they're going with Xia Brookside. I think it's pretty cool. She's a good underdog babyface to have there.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get and she picks up a win, so that's always good. Then we get backstage, and we see Tony saying that she's ready all the time because it's always Tony time, because they're asking her, of course, about Kaylee Ray and when she will challenge for the title.
Forget Rusev Day, it's Tony time all the time now.
Tony time all the time, yeah. So she says she'll be back in action in 2 weeks. Rusev Day's long dead, man. That hasn't been a thing in a while. We should switch that to Tony time when you do all your birthday things.
Sure, why not? I'll leave it to a poll, who knows?
Although Happy Rusev Day sounds better than Happy Tony time. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Noam Dar versus Ligero. This is a good match.
Mm-hmm.
You know, solid 3-star match here for people on Grapple. I'll be rating this one a solid 3-star. Kenny Williams sits at ringside to watch because Noam Dar, like we talked about last week, Noam Dar's offered to put him under his wing.
Uh-huh.
You know, he's like, "What's this?" And he lifts his arm up. "What's this? What's this look like?" "It's a wing, and I want you under it." So, you know, it looks like Kenny Williams is taking him up on that, at least at the beginning here. But then maybe not.
No, maybe not. So he's done the knee injury. The boy who cried wolf, as commentary said, trying to go for a chair, and just Kenny Williams is just like, no, I'll pass. And cost the match.
Yeah, so he acts like he's going to give it to him,
Mm-hmm.
but then he changes his mind and he backs out.
So maybe and Noam Dar didn't seem too surprised. Like he was a bit like, what are you doing? But he wasn't pissed off. So I think there's still wiggle room for these guys to like, I'll give you another chance. And if I could see this happening a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. They'll probably build it for a while, go back and forth a little, but it's good to see stories developing. That's my big thing with the UK brand. So then we get the UK title match, which has been built for a little while. Travis Banks taking on Volta. Banks works the knee a bit, you know, chopping away at the leg, trying to bring the legs out from under the big man, but ultimately Volta overcomes that, hits his big power bomb and whatnot, and gets the win. This match wasn't as good as I thought it would be, given who was involved. It was a decent match, but nothing super special. And Volta retains the UK title as you would expect.
Yeah, I mean, you could even commentary and everything else. You knew his strategy going in. He was trying to chop down the mighty oak that is Volta, and like Walter's like he's the ring general. He's not gonna go out of his way to do these like big impressive things. Like the fact that he can chop the crap out of you, or just like simple moves, like he makes them seem incredible. But yeah, I don't know if it was like maybe the pacing or just these guys didn't have enough room to breathe. Something felt off to me, but I did still enjoy it. It was a great match. And yeah, there was never any doubt that Volta was not going to keep the title.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone thought that Travis Banks was going to be taking this one. You know, I mean, he won the little tournament thing, but it's not the right kind of build. And of course, this was Volta's second defense. He has not had many defenses.
I was surprised, because I'm still relatively new to NXT UK. Like, I didn't know whether Imperium would actually accompany him during this matchup. Is that going to be is that part of the rules of their...
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that it's probably, similar to Undisputed Era. They're not always going to accompany each other. They're just going to be there when it's really, really needed, They'll do the run-ins if things look like it's in trouble.
Yeah. Well, the fact that they weren't there as well, it kind of says Walter's kind of confident in his ability to handle this problem himself. And so you just if he's not worried, then why should we be invested?
Yeah. I see that. Yeah, if he's not a big enough challenge to bring your Imperium buddies out for, then how can we get invested in the match? That's a very valid point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what would you rate this? What would you rate this one on Grapple?
I haven't done it on the Grapple for this episode of UK just yet, but overall, I give it 3.25 out of 5. Yeah,
3.25. Yeah,
yeah.
I could see this one 3.25. I'm hovering between 3 and 3.25, I reckon. But people, just so you know, Grapple, of course, are our good friends sponsoring the show this month. They're a new app that you can get. They're a team out of the UK that have built this app, and it's basically Rotten Tomatoes for wrestling. It's community star ratings, so no longer do we have to rely on Meltzer and co. as though they are some kind of gods, arbiters of truth and justice, deciding what is or is not good wrestling. If you think Joey Janela versus Joey Ryan is a 5-star match, guess what? Fuck Jim Cornette. Rate that shit 5 stars. These guys, their opinion means just as much as your opinion in the democratization of star ratings that is Grapple. I'm on there at Greg Unchained. Where can people find you, Mr. Mysterious?
I am at Miss Mysterious on there as well with the 1-7i, as I am with all the socials as well. So get on it. Yeah,
well, we'll get to that at the end. Come on, man.
No, I'm just saying, I'm saying there's nothing's changed. I'm not doing an outro. I'm saying there's nothing's changed in the platform.
Right. Yeah. So you can go on there and you can rate the matches. They also have Australian wrestling as a part of our relationship. We said to them, look, we would love to talk about the Grapple app, but it needs some Aussie content, man. And so they they did the honors for us, and they added PWA to their list of promotions that you can rate. So you can now rate PWA matches all the way up to the last, All Eyes on Troy show. So definitely get around that and give those PWA ratings. I will be giving some goodies to people who follow me and also have rated PWA matches at the end of this month. I'll pick some random people out of that list and I will give some goodies away. So get on the Grapple app at grapple.co. It's free on iOS. It's free on Android. There's literally no reason not to do it. And with that, let's hear from a couple other of our sponsors, and then we'll come back and talk about the NXT proper.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B Plus podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Graps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today. Hey everyone, just want to take a second to tell you about one of our new sponsors, Outbreak Nutrition. Outbreak Nutrition are creating supplements for survival, sharper minds, quicker reflexes, all the energy you need to take your performance to the next level, whether that be on the field, in the gym, on the gaming field. That's right, they have specifically designed gaming supplements as well to help you focus on those late night sessions. They even sell coffee, you guys, at Outbreak Nutrition. You can get coffee pods, you can get coffee beans, you can get supplements for the bedroom as well if you want to enhance your performance there. These are performance enhancing supplements for every aspect of your life, specifically designed by gamers, for gamers, to stay fit and healthy in the gym, to stay sharp and focused on the game, and to dominate in all areas of life. So check out outbreaknutrition.com, and for being a listener of our podcast, they will give you 10% off your order when you enter the code B+. That is BPLUS at checkout. So make sure, if you want to stay on top of your game, if you want to take your performance to the next level, outbreaknutrition.com, enter the code B+ at checkout.
And we're back, everybody, with the second half of our NXT talk. We've talked about NXT UK. Now, let's bring it home with the latest episode of NXT. How are we feeling about this, Greg?
Yeah, no, it was a pretty good episode. I'm happy they started the breakout tournament, which our very own Jonah Rock, a.k.a. Bronson Reed, is going to be a part of. I also like that we're starting to get subtitles on promos for foreign talent, which we'll get to that shortly, I guess. But the first match here was a breakout tournament match. Joaquin Wilde, formerly known, of course, as DJZ, taking on Angel Garza, Angel Garza, formerly known as... I don't have it in my notes.
No, neither do I.
Let's get a quick Google happening. This is something we should know. Garza Jr.
Yep.
Yeah, so Garza Jr., I'm going to guess CMLL. I'm not too familiar with Lucha, as people know. Mikey's our Lucha guy. Mikey's not here. So Garza Jr., now Angel Garza. And I don't know how I feel about Angel Garza, man. Like, I'm a fan of DJZ, Joaquin Wilde. Angel Garza, he's obviously very crisp and good at his job, but the character just feels so generic.
It's just, because I've heard a couple other people talk about this, like, he's third generation star, and it's just one of those things where he knows he's talented, and like that's the character. Like, he knows his ability, and like you got it in that little like 10-second vignette, just saying like, why am I Angel? Like, look at my face, look at my body. So it's more just not like confidence and like bit of bravado, but not I didn't see much more to him than that, but it shows.
But think about how generic it is. Like, think about every attractive Latino man character in wrestling, right? It's like they do this repeatedly. I mean, how is this character any different to Andrade Cien Almas?
Maybe like
just a cocky, good-looking Latino. That's it. That's all there is to it.
We
It's
could
very
see
shallow.
we could see some evolution because he did actually win his. He's as advanced in the breakout tournament, so we'll see. We can get some more personality out of him. But how do you feel about the match itself?
The match itself was good. It was a really good match, really good opening match. I gave it 3.25. So I felt this was equal to the NXT UK main event. It was a good fun match. Like I'm hovering between 3 and 3.25 once again. So nothing wrong with the match at all. Angel Garza's work is fantastic, and he plays the character well. I'm just a little concerned that they don't know what to do with Latino guys.
Maybe they're still sussing out his character, and they've started with the names. They're going to work with the basics, and eventually, whoever wins the tournament, I don't know. At the roster is packed to the brim, so it's kind of hard to give everybody something different, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. So anyway, we move on and we get, as I mentioned, promo from Kushida here. Obviously, Kushida is Japanese.
Yes.
And he's cutting a promo in his native tongue. And they put subtitles over it, which makes me very happy.
No, I love this, absolutely. And yeah, in his short time, he's had a really great arrival. I'm looking forward to what he can just put on for the NXT roster. I can see him going up for the North American title down the line. He'll have some great 5-star matches with just whoever comes out.
Yeah, definitely. He's not undefeated. He had that little thing with. Did he beat Drew Gulak both times?
I don't think he beat him both times.
I'm drawing a blank on whether
he's had a few matches with Gulak.
Yeah.
Which
makes me think that maybe it was that he lost one of them. But then when I think about it, I'm like, no, he won both of them. It's just that the first one he didn't win by submission. I'm double checking now on Cage Match, but I think he's actually undefeated in NXT at the moment.
Okay.
Beats Kona Reeves, Oh, hang on. There's some spoilers there because that's from the tapings. You son of a bitch. Oh, that makes me unhappy. But yeah, here we go. We've got some live house shows. Yeah, it looks like Kushida is undefeated in NXT.
All right.
Yeah. Interesting. They've got to be building him towards a title soon. Probably the North American title, I would see.
Mm-hmm.
You build him up a little and then he goes up against Velveteen Dream and takes his first L. That makes sense to me. Perhaps at the next takeover.
Yeah. But for now, more the focus is on the NXT UK's takeover in Cardiff. Then after that, we'll worry about that later.
Yeah, but definitely Kushida getting the rub here. Also getting the rub, Damian Priest. He gets approached after his debut last week, and they start asking questions. He's like, look, there's plenty of time for questions. You haven't seen anything yet. The name Damian Priest will live forever. And he has such a voice, man. Punishment Martinez, formerly known as now Damian Priest. Fantastic voice for these kinds of promos.
Great name transition, and he had a great showing last week.
Yeah, I want Damian Priest and Keith Lee to team up, not in the ring, but on reading audiobooks.
Yeah, no, that would be fantastic. What would be the first book of your choice?
Man, I don't know. Like, it's something inspirational, you know? Like, I don't know. You know those books like The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck or whatever, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just get Keith Lee and Damian Priest to read that, you know? I feel like they could encourage me to do just about anything. So up next we have the Street Profits come out, and they're having a match against the Forgotten Sons, and they suggest that they should put their titles on the line, which was really interesting because the crowd are normally super stoked to see a title match. They were chanting no for this.
Yeah, I was very confused by this, like whether it's more just like they didn't want the Sons in the match or they weren't fans of the. I thought people would be behind the Street Profits since they have picked up the gold.
Yeah, like they were getting the pops and stuff. It just felt like maybe the crowd didn't want Forgotten Sons to get a title match. I don't know. It was weird. It was just weird that they chanted no to the possibility of a title match. And then the match started and it was completely unclear. Like, is this for the titles? The commentary didn't know. No one said it was or wasn't. It was just like, what's going on here? But then it didn't end up mattering because Jackson Riker interjects himself and causes a DQ. And then Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch come out and make the save, and then they hand the titles to the Street Profits. It's like, oh, we're going to see these guys want to challenge for the titles too. Yeah, no, it's good that they're building a little tag division here, but the crowd just threw me off, and the fact that we didn't know if it was a title match or not threw me off. It was very hard to enjoy this segment.
I enjoyed it more so as like story building rather than the match itself, because there's a match itself all over the place.
Yeah. No, but like just as a segment, I got confused a lot, I guess. And this could just be, again, I'm very tired tonight, and I don't know why. So I may have just been tired and being like, none of this makes any sense. And maybe it was just me, and maybe everyone else understood it. But yeah, it bummed me out. This was the low point. It was the low point
of the show, but we had a great opener, great close, and we're slowly transitioning to that. So the next match, of course, was Keith Lee go up against Nikos Rikos, and Keith Lee, they were really hyping him up as Dusty Rhodes' chosen one, or to that effect.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they're going with that, but seriously, this Nikos kid, Nikos Rikos, what the fuck was he wearing?
It's like going up against Keith Lee, the whole bask in my glory. He's trying to like, oh, people are going to be looking at you, or look at me. I don't know.
It was weird. He had like one full leg and then another knot, and then opposite he had like a sleeve. I don't know what it was. Like, who designed this gear? It did not look functional at all.
So yeah, like you had the pounce by Keith Lee. And he's saying this is my NXT, so we're transitioning from this is my house to my NXT, or I'm confused whether it'd be call up like this is my Raw or whatever. But no, this is just standard match, limit breaker, fireman's carry into a power slam. Yeah, big squash.
Yeah, very, 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 very quick squash match. No point giving this a rating at all. I don't even know if it'll show up on Grapple. Then we see Adam Cole traveling around his Bay Championship tour. He's got a private jet going to defend at Download, and then he was talking to Roderick Strong, and they put in a food order that it looked like Adam Cole was going to pick up on his way back to the hotel, I guess, and they were at Gargano's Coffee and Donuts. We haven't seen Gargano since he lost. I mean, is he retired? Is he opening up a shop? Like, what's going on?
Is this like when Triple H found Shawn Michaels working in a kitchen? Just like, I need you to come back, man. We need to put on the third.
I have no idea. But it seems like a to be continued thing.
But yeah, no, I'm very curious about the celebration tour. How he was at the Download Festival. So has that taping been of him defending the title?
I haven't seen it yet, but it looked like it was him versus Dave Mastiff.
Yeah, well, I'm very much looking forward to that. I just the reception from that crowd, like, because we're still having the tapings from that festival, and yeah, he's living the life, and I'm just can't wait to see how much he'll bask in his own glory. It's like to take it from Keith Lee, but yeah.
Right. And then we get the cage match for the women's title, which is really random because, Io Shirai hasn't earned another title shot. But hey, here we are. It's clearly just a story thing that they're doing. But Io versus Shayna Baszler, the champion, defending the title in a cage match. The horsewomen come out throughout the match and prevent the ref from opening the door. So then Candice LeRae comes out to even the odds a bit. Io Shirai gets to the top, but does the classic babyface error of hitting a big high-risk move instead of just climbing out of the fucking cage. Does a moonsault on Shayna. Did you pick up what the crowd was saying here?
No, I didn't actually.
So normally in this situation you would get... So she's done a moonsault from the top of the cage into the ring. Normally in this situation you would get a holy shit chant, or perhaps an NXT chant. They were chanting Yowie Wow. Which I was very happy with, and I want Yowie Wowie to replace holy shit chants from now on. Like, can this become a thing? This can be Bray Wyatt's legacy. Like, Ric Flair has the woo. Whenever anyone chops, you have the woo. Steve Austin has the what. Can Bray Wyatt leave us with this Yowie Wowie instead of holy shit
When he
chants,
finally
please?
comes to the main roster, I feel like he'll be the pioneer of making everyone scream Yowie Wowie. And I hope it bleeds.
Yowie!
I hope it bleeds
wowie.
into the other shows.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I'm all for that.
Yeah. Yowie, wowie. So good. It's so chantable. I never even realized that you could chant that, you know? It's amazing. So hats off to the NXT crowd for coming up with that. And then ultimately the match ends. Interesting finish spot. I don't know what's better, this or the Kofi one. Which, you know, the Kofi one, I don't know if you listened to the podcast or not, but Lance ruined that for me because he pointed out that Kofi had his leg worked over, but then jumped out of the cage and it made no sense. Shayna Baszler here is locking on submissions in the ropes, like trying to stop Io Shirai from getting out the door. Io's fading a little, but she grabs the door of the cage in desperation, slams it into Baszler's head a few times, and Baszler collapses outside of the ring, winning the match.
I loved how, like, just the smug heel, like, win, like, just winning without even realize she's won. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great spot, but it also speaks to how dumb WWE cage matches are. Winning by escape is the stupidest fucking stipulation ever.
Yeah. Look, at least with, like, Hell in a Cell, you have the lid on so that they don't escape that way. Yeah, I don't know.
The idea of a cage match is to be locked in, so you have to resolve your issue. Like, that's... Yeah, no. Anyway, if running away is an option, what's the point of the fucking cage? So anyway, Baszler wins, retains the title, and then Candice is trying to console Io Shirai. But no! Heel turn!
I actually love this very much. So she's freaked, she's lashed out, and it looks like she's like, oh my god, what have I done? She's going to walk away, and then she's like, no, she's sorry she didn't bring out a steel chair, and just starts wailing on her some more.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Yeah. And then Io hits a suplex on the chair. Holy shit. Candice LeRae's a beast taking a bump like that. I love Candice LeRae. Hopefully this means we're going to get Candice LeRae, Io Shirai, non-title match on a takeover, and at the same time have Shayna Baszler defending the title. Because in the modern era of takeover matches with takeover shows with 5 matches, because once upon a time they did lots of squash matches and stuff, but now they don't. Right. And so we only ever get one women's match. And so it'll be really cool to see if we can get 2.
A women's match without the title involved? Perish the thought, Greg.
Yeah. And it's about fucking time Candice got to do something, man. It's about fucking time. Like, I've been singing the praise of Candice LeRae for a long time, and I've been decrying the way she's been used in NXT. And it makes me very happy to see her, part of a main event angle here on NXT TV. I'm very happy with this. I'm looking forward to what this means for the future. And that's NXT. Anything else we need to talk about here before we wrap things up, Mr. Mysterious?
Just trying to think with how you mentioned that they gave subtitles to Kushida for his promo, if we were able to suss out for Io Shirai what she was saying as she was walking back down the ramp after she'd brutalized Candice.
Yeah, it would be interesting because she said something.
It's like I heard like I don't need friends, like, but then she started to, I'm really curious. Like that should be the next step, just to slowly have some more subtitles, like for the actual in-ring work down the line.
Would be interesting. Would definitely be interesting. It works better on video packages, but I can see why we would want that. But that does it for NXT this week. Where can people find you, Mr.
You guys can find me, as I said before, on all the socials at Mr. Mysterious with 1-7i, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and of course Grapple. You should rate this match and all the other ones moving forward, as we have done here at the B+. How about yourself, Greg?
I am at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B+ Wrestle on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit. The B+ Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, 5-star review if you like what we do. And thank you.
Catch you, guys.